Now, turning to our program, please welcome Jeff Fleming, Communications Director of the Office of Mayor Cavalier Johnson and former Chair of the Rotary Person of the Year Committee, to introduce our program.
So I'm here instead of Nancy Sennett, who is our chairperson of the Rotary Person of the Year Committee. I'm glad to substitute today. The Rotary Club of Milwaukee has no higher honor than the Rotary Person of the Year Award. Annually, our club honors accomplished local individuals, a local individual who has distinguished herself or himself with professional accomplishments. Unlike other awards that recognize civic and philanthropic achievements, the Rotary Person of the Year honor recognizes individuals, executives, entrepreneurs who, through their profession, are making the Milwaukee community a better place to live and work. Members of our club are eligible for the award, but most often, the winner comes from outside of the club. A committee of your fellow Rotarians reviews the nominations. It's a straightforward process in which nominees' attributes are carefully reviewed and compared before the list is narrowed to one selected winner. Well, usually it's a straightforward process. This year, the Rotary Person of the Year selection was a little bit different. After the committee convened and began its standard review, members and others independently and repeatedly put forward the same nominee, Mary McCormick. Given the overwhelming and consistent support, the committee paused the traditional open nomination process and instead conducted a confidential review, carefully evaluating her nomination against the award criteria. Following thoughtful discussion and consideration, the committee ultimately selected Mary as this year's honoree, recognizing the exceptional impact of her professional leadership on the Milwaukee community. Here to speak more on Mary's recognition, please welcome Barbara Velez, Principal, Velez Associates, and member of the Rotary Person of the Year Committee.
I do want to say that the energy in this room is electric. And I've been in this room more years than I'm going to tell you. And I will say that it is rare to see every single table filled and all of the energy that I feel. I imagine that every one of us in this room are delighted to call Mary a friend. I also imagine, in fact, I know that there are also dozens of people in this room who would like to be at the podium right now to introduce her as the Rotary Person of the Year. I merely am the lucky one. While most of us know some of Mary or most of Mary's history with our club, it bears a synopsis, as there is no doubt her professional achievements qualify her as the Rotary Person of the Year. But first, a bit of personal background. Married to Tim Hawks for 46 years this August. They have 4 children, 2 girls, followed by 2 boys, and 8 grandchildren, 7 under the age of 7. That in itself is worthy of recognition. This is a tight-knit Irish Catholic family. They are so close that 3 of their 4 adult children live within 5 blocks of Mary and Tim, and they all have Prospect Avenue as their address. Tim and Mary, of course, consider it a wonderful gift. Full-blooded Irish, Mary grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, the oldest and only girl in a family of 4. 2 of her brothers, all of whom remain in Hartford, are twins. Mary earned her undergraduate degree from Georgetown, where she originally met Tim, and an MBA from the Kellogg School at Northwestern. In 1974, Georgetown started offering co-ed dorms, and Tim was Mary's RA. I'm just saying. Law school and work distanced them a few years, but they were reintroduced by a classmate of Mary's and married in August of 1980. Ben Franklin said, "You can't do anything well unless you have fun doing it." Mary is known to have said, "It is always the time to leave a party when you're still having fun." So why is she the Rotary Person of the Year? Throughout her tenure, she has been called upon annually to support more than 20 member committees with far-reaching interests including club support, education, connecting locally, connecting globally, club events, and individual volunteer opportunities. Each administration, and she's lived through 24 of them, has its own personality. However, Mary has managed to navigate all of that to keep our club steady, efficient, and effective. Nearly 25 years on the job, her clear-eyed judgment, sincere belief in doing the right thing, and keen intellect have shepherded multiple RCM projects, including the naming rights to the Milwaukee Rotary Amphitheater at Discovery World, creation of the free Live at the Lakefront concert series at that very same amphitheater, renovation of the Brown Street Academy and Johnson's Park playgrounds and Alice's Garden, the Milwaukee Rotary Centennial Arboretum, creation of Milwaukee Urban Stables, rebranding and communications upgrades to our social media, the RCM Scholarship Program, funded with private donations, many asked by Mary, and proceeds from the annual RCM Golf Classic have thus far 50 graduates and 27 current scholars. She has also, through all of that, provided sound fiscal stewardship of RCM funds and membership contributions. And as we all full well know, RCM is a service organization, and Mary's commitment to the four-way test has extended into our community, where she has volunteered her time, talent, and treasure in board capacities with the Friends of Shorewood Nature Preserve, the Guest House of Milwaukee, Milwaukee's Children's Village, Milwaukee Women, Inc., St. A's, now known as Wellpoint, St. Robert's School, the Shorewood Foundation, and Temple, earning her the Mentor of the Year award as well. Our Rotary Person of the Year is a dignified, highly regarded honor. It has been earned by many of the most respected business leaders in our region. I have served on the Person of the Year award for several years and reviewed dozens of nominations. Mary's achievements, professionally and personally, stand up and out to each of the selections determined during my tenure. Mary, you are indeed the Rotary Person of the Year and have been representative of all those who have come before you, and I suspect those who will come after. Congratulations and thank you. And now let's hear what some of her friends and colleagues have to say. So roll 'em, Aaron.
A true leader.
But she's just a wonderful human being and absolutely lives Rotary.
Mary is one of the warmest, most intelligent women that I have ever met.
Cool, calm, and collected.
She's just a very engaging, warm person to be with.
Probably one of the best humanitarians that I know.
Dynamic, endless energy.
The heart and soul of Milwaukee Rotary.
She's an impressive woman.
She is a rock star.
Steel magnolia.
She's a conductor. She's a convener. She's a facilitator. She's a ringleader.
Competent and friendly.
Mary is the most generous, lovely person I think I've ever met.
Mary's the best person I know.
Quiet diplomacy.
Queen of Rotary.
Maker of all good things that happen.
She is guided by the passion for people, and she's incredible.
She epitomizes the word service.
A strategic bridge builder.
A bad bee. Can I say that? Mary McCormick is a bad bee.
Mary McCormick is the hostess of Milwaukee's Town Square. I think she has amazing people skills. Obviously, she's very, very bright. And she has an understanding of organizations, of our civic life here. She really is in the business of creating insights by bringing all these interesting people together.
I would say she has her finger on the pulse of the city. And that means the whole city. She has to know what's going on all over the city, not just on the east side, not just downtown, and be able to plug into the organizations that are thriving in those communities.
She has been just phenomenal in helping us build and enhance the Rotary Club of Milwaukee based on the people she knows, the people she engages with. She's just super.
Her legacy is that Rotary continues to thrive. So there's been a lot of challenges to Rotary, and I think through all of those, Mary has risen to the occasion and continued to make Rotary a strong and important force in the Milwaukee community.
She also, I think, could focus on detail, but still keep the big picture in mind. It was part of what made her such a strong leader and such an effective leader, because she could do both. Not everybody can do that.
I think the legacy is the Downtown Rotary Club. I mean, the Downtown Rotary Club is a very active, highly respected Rotary Club in the United States. They do work all over the world, you know, the polio vaccinations and the various projects they've done in Guatemala. And Mary's a key responsible figure for making all that happen.
And I will say, I've spoken at other Rotaries around the Midwest. Milwaukee's the best by far. And I mean, nothing really that I've seen that comes close in terms of organization and commitment and even time management. I've always attributed that to Mary.
I mean, there's sort of the physical symbols or evidence of her impact, which is the Arboretum and that beautiful arch, auditorium space near Discovery World, stables. So there's just a number of sort of physical embodiments of the way that she has left her impact. Probably more meaningful is, again, the many careers and relationships that she's helped to foster.
It goes way beyond physical impact. I think it's, she brings people that sometimes you would not expect to be at a Rotary Club. She brings them there. And I think for the audience, a lot of leaders in Milwaukee, both business leaders and nonprofit leaders, it's good for them to have that exposure. And so the fact that she has so many connections and so many interests and can bring them together, I think that's what makes Rotary even more effective.
I think about the Rotary Scholarship Program, which is just phenomenal, and the support that she provided to all of those projects to say that, yes, we can do it.
I mean, the thing about Mary is we were just one project. She was involved in projects all over the city. I mean, Johnson Park and the stables, and it's beautiful, actually. It's kind of like a conductor, as I see it. I mean, she was a conductor of many diverse people.
She's a really great example of how I think a leader should represent themselves in the public eye. And I think she's really been there for a lot of people in personal ways, not just as a member of the club. You know, when people have struggled, she's definitely been there.
I marveled at seeing Mary just work her magic and just talking to people and making people feel at ease and always finding a way to get to yes.
She's often said, you know, I'm not always the person that comes up with the ideas, but I know a good one when I see one. And she's really good then identifying the right resources and the people to align with that idea to make it come to fruition.
In all these years, I have learned one thing. When Mary is there, things get done.
Honestly, the thing that stands out for Mary for me is how she was able to corral a politically diverse organization in and keep her own personal integrity along the way.
I'm always amazed in my working with Mary for 21 years, how she's able to herd all these cats, many of whom are in this room right now, the 275 members. And she does that through an amazing array of skills, whether it's cajoling or appeasing or suggesting or persuading or influencing. The end result is an amazing impact in our community.
I think she also is a person that demonstrates through the way she lives that you can be important, but you can also treat people with respect. She's not really a goody two-shoes where she comes across as holier than thou and doesn't come across as naive. She just, I'm going to treat you with respect.
The way she opens up doors and creates opportunities for the people in her life kind of constantly and seamlessly and without even anyone necessarily realizing she was doing it.
Yeah, there have been a lot of times where I've been involved in a project and I have to stop and say to myself, how did I get into that? Did I say yes? And then I realize, it's Mary.
Mary is so sophisticated, she doesn't have embarrassing stories. Okay? She's like that good.
She'll tell you what she needs and what she wants. She's direct, but her directness isn't abrasive. It's always done with good humor and kindness.
Yeah, I mean, don't put this on camera, but my teenage years weren't great. You wouldn't have thought we would grow up. I would grow up to be living 2 blocks from her and delighted to see her at daycare drop-off. So there were a couple of times she thought I was making bad decisions and I thought I was making good decisions. And she was definitely right in hindsight, but I didn't see it that way at the time. So thanks, Mom, even though I didn't believe you at the time.
I remember one time during one of her visits to Guatemala, we were talking about how many projects we have done together and how difficult it is to understand the real impact those projects have on people's life. Mary said something I will never forget. It's amazing what can be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. And that is exactly what Mary is.
She struck me as a person who was sort of power in the background.
And Mary has always had a sense of humility about her and understands that even as a leader, she is leading the group forward, kind of like a guiding shepherd, I guess.
And she's not out for herself. She's not asking for credit. She's not, waving her own flag ever. And I think sometimes those are the people that get the most done.
What a great way to show how much we've all really come to love her than to give her this award.
I think everyone recognizes that she is the animating force behind all of that and has worked well with the members. And consequently, I think it's appropriate that she be honored with this award.
To see all of the people who admire her, not just because she's retiring, not just right now. We walk down the street and, someone comes up and gives her a hug and thanks her for X, Y, and Z thing.
And her compassion, and she's just a kind person.
When it comes to awards and recognition, I'm always a fan of giving them to people who are not seeking them. And she would fit that category. It's time to celebrate her legacy and what she brought to this community. And it's a lot.
I mean, there's no one more connected than Mary McCormick in the city. It's sort of like almost a quiet mayor.
On a day when she's going to get a lot of attention, I think she might wish at times that she was invisible during that. But I hope that she can take a deep breath and sort of sit back and enjoy it.
I think it's kind of obvious in a way. She cares.
She is awesome. This was the easiest request anybody's made in a long time.
Mary, I want to congratulate you on this award. If anybody deserves this, you do.
Hey, Mary, congratulations.
Congratulations, Mary. I am so proud that I had the opportunity to work with you.
A huge congratulations to you, Mary. You are one of Milwaukee's greatest treasures.
Congratulations, Mary. Well deserved.
Mary, thank you very, very much for your years of service.
Congratulations, Mary.
Congratulations, Mary.
Hey, Mary, I just want to say congratulations.
I love you, respect you, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all your new adventures.
Mary, it's been a privilege of working with you for the last 5 years, and I just want to say thank you for introducing me to the world of Rotary, and thank you for always reminding me that the work of Rotary not only creates lasting change in our communities across the world, but also in ourselves. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Mary, I have so enjoyed
working and learning with you in the last 5 years, sitting at my dining room table or your dining room table and working out a problem together. And I will really miss that, but I know that you're only a few blocks away. So congratulations on your retirement, and come find me when you want to go for a walk sometime.
Please once again welcome our 2026 Rotary Person of the Year, Mary McCormick.
Thank you, Ted.
Congratulations.
This has really all been way too much. And I feel like everything's been said, but I've been working hard on what to say, so I have to say something, right? So I'll have to figure out how this goes. Well, I mean, what an amazing honor it is to be honored by my fellow Rotarians today. Many of you have known me for a long time, and you know my strengths as well as my shortcomings. And one of them is that I don't project very well, and that's even when I don't have a cold. So if you can't hear me, would you please let me know? I'm hesitant to really start thanking people because I'm going to leave people out, but I have to, thank a few people, and starting with the Rotary Person of the Year Committee. Yes, it's true they made this decision without me knowing, but I also know that Barbara is very persuasive. So I think that, but thank you. It really just means the world to me. And I have to thank, all of the wonderful presidents, past, current, and even in the near future, Beth and Marilka, for the opportunity to work alongside you. 25 so far, I mean, if we're counting, and each of them has really given of their own time, talent, and treasure to make our club what it is today, and it's pretty special. And I also want to acknowledge the 25 boards of directors, and there's something that is special about our governance that I feel like I need to call out, which is I have seen a number of other large Rotary clubs across the country and how they operate. And our governance is top-notch. And one of the ways that that shows up is that the staff has always been treated very professionally. Some Rotary clubs have treated their staff as quasi-volunteers without annual reviews or pay raises or benefits. That's never been the case here. The board has always ensured that the staff was treated with the utmost of professionalism, and hopefully that pays off. But thank you to all of the Rotary boards that have gone before. And of course, there is the terrific staff. I mean, I don't really need to tell you how wonderful and lucky we are to have Aaron and Melissa and Ann. This place just runs so smoothly because of them. And Rotary wouldn't be what it is. Our meetings wouldn't take place as smoothly as they do without the great support from the SAS's staff and the War Memorial staff. They are just so easy to work with and a real joy. And of course, there is my amazing family. And I think you guys should stand because I don't know if everybody knows you. But, this is... Okay, yeah. Okay. So you met Laura on the video, and Colleen is here from Oregon. She's our oldest daughter. And Tyler, this is his first Rotary meeting. I thought maybe I should make him a pin or something, And you've met Charlie before, and their wives, Becca and Jenna, are here. Two of Tim's 6 sisters came in today from Iowa and Illinois. Thank you, Terry and Katie. And I have an outlaw here, my brother-in-law, Tony. So thank you, Tony, for coming here as well. And Barbara mentioned my brothers, and they are watching online in Connecticut. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my brothers and their wives. And I am blessed with so many amazing friends. And some of you are in this room every week because you are Rotarians, and some of you are here especially today. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all of the love and support that you give me all year round. Just one caveat, I'm going to talk a lot about the Rotary Club of Milwaukee, and maybe I should shorten it up a little bit, but I wanted to say that I did cut a lot out. So I'm not talking about Rotary International. I'm really talking about our club, but I want to recognize that, you know, we are part of a very amazing organization, and we really stand on the shoulder and close to the heart of the giant. So please, you know, remember that as we talk. So onward. This has really given me a chance to reflect a little bit, and I went way back. And as Barbara mentioned, I'm part of a large Irish family, and my grandmother lived with us until I was 9 years old. That's actually not me, that's my cousin Rose. I have 37 first cousins, but it's the only photo I have of my grandmother. So we actually shared a bedroom. I mean, we were very close. Rose's husband died in 1927, leaving her with 5 children, ages 5 to 15. My mother was in the middle. And you know, in 1927, there wasn't Social Security, there weren't widow benefits, there weren't pensions, and I really don't know how the family pulled it all together. I know that my mother was sent off to live with friends from time to time when they couldn't pay the rent. But the story that has always stuck with me throughout my life was that, you know, throughout the 30s, the poverty was rampant, and we used to talk about the hobos and the bums that would wander around looking for food and shelter. But it was said that whenever anyone knocked on my grandmother's door, she always found something to share. Even though she had very little, there was always something that she could find to give. And in fact, the story went that people put like a little mark outside her door somehow or on the sidewalk to let people know that there was a friendly face that would answer the door. And so what I learned from that is that we really are all in this together, and we all have a responsibility to take care of one another, even when, or especially when, it's not easy. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to when I got out of college. My first job was with the city of Washington, D.C. And working in local government at that time gave me a glimpse of working, the power of really working on the smaller scale. As a 22-year-old, I had opportunities to make a difference in ways that I wouldn't have had I been in a larger organization. So, you know, kind of the big fish in a small pond. And I think that that translates into a lot of what we are able to do in Milwaukee. It gives us a great advantage. We aren't New York or Seattle or Chicago. We can see the difference that the Rotary Club of Milwaukee makes in our community. We can see that collectively we are making a difference. Finally, one last reflection is there is really no better preparation for serving as the executive director of a large membership organization than being the mother of 4 children. Parenting taught me and continues to teach me to be flexible, patient, and the importance of holding the long view. I learned that people are who they are. It is more effective to influence than control, and to limit my natural tendency towards being judgmental. And now I have these terrific adults in my life who are always a source of inspiration and advice and always tell me when I'm doing something wrong. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's talk about the Rotary Club of Milwaukee. And I want to just build around this idea that connecting people who care about the community makes a city stronger. And I'm going to look at this from 3 different perspectives. One, that we are a club of leaders and dreamers, that we are people of action, and that we operate in a culture of fairness. So there was a time in the not so distant past, when Rotary was founded 100 years ago, when we held a very narrow view of what a leader should be. Perhaps it was someone who ran a company or managed a law firm or was elected to high political office. And these were the people who founded our club, and we are forever grateful for all they did for Rotary and for our community. But leadership is a trait that comes from within, and it's not bestowed with a title. Our vision of a leader has broadened, and Milwaukee has made way for a new class of leaders, which has been embraced by the Rotary Club of Milwaukee. Yes, the faces of leaders are different than they were decades ago. We have more women, more genders, more generations, more shades of color, more diversity in point of view, religion, and politics. Here are some of the ways that we describe a Rotarian today. We say we are curious and we are constantly learning. We believe in truth and fairness. We are generous. We have networks that we mobilize for good. We are effective problem solvers. We are persistent. And we invest in relationships. Because of this, we believe that together we can make a difference in communities, here at home and abroad. And we are people with big dreams, but we're more than dreamers. We are people of action. We do a lot. And how we decide to do what we're going to do, I think that could be our secret sauce. Over the last couple of months, a few other member organizations have reached out to me to say, how is it that your club is doing well? How are you growing members? What can we learn from you? And my answer is, talk to your members. Find out what they care about. We like to say we are a bottom-up club, that our best ideas come from our members. See what I'm saying? This word is really all about you. It really isn't about me. A good example of our bottom-up, I'm going to take a drink of water though for a moment here. A good example of our bottom-up approach is our scholarship program, which has been mentioned. And I like to say that going back to 2008, we did not have a scholarship program. And we had a member, Jim Miller, the late Jim Miller, who was quite beloved, who was determined that we would have one. He was persistent and he garnered support and he pulled people together and they raised $10,000 amongst themselves to raise to award the first 3 scholarships in 2009. And as mentioned before, we now have 50 graduates, 25 students most years, and we've grown our endowment to almost $2 million. And this program is special. It really fits an important niche. Many of our scholars come from low-income families and maybe the first in their family to go to college. Nationally, only 11% of first-generation college kids actually graduate in 6 years, but 2/3 of our students are graduating in 4.5 years. So this is something that we really should hold dear to our hearts and be very proud. We are doing this work to help the students and their families reach their dreams. Our international work is thriving, and we've heard a little bit about that, but a quick snapshot is that most of our work really takes place in the highlands of Guatemala, where there's limited access to basic needs. The communities in which we work often do not have running water, and it's common to see young boys and girls carrying water from a spring. This could take a couple of hours a day, and this is hours like when they're not in school. Perhaps they dream of being in school. And speaking of bottom up, our Guatemala work began with Rotarian Mike Paddock and the Engineers Without Borders teams. And they have the skills and the contacts and the vision and the passion to undertake significant international projects. And Mike and his team attracted like-minded members of our club, Jerry Stepaniak and others, who brought their own passions and skill to the table. Whether it is engineering, grant writing, fundraising, trip organizing, or twisting rebar on a project site. And working with our amazing partners, our Rotarian partners in Guatemala, we've really accomplished a lot. I think we've put over $3 million of infrastructure in the ground. And that dollar value really doesn't capture the difference that we're able to make in the lives of the children and the families and the communities. Turning our members' dreams into action is a story that repeats itself over and over again. The Maritime Committee is preparing for the 17th year of Live at the Lakefront at the Milwaukee Rotary Amphitheater at Discovery World. The Scholarship Golf Classic is thriving. We turned to our members to source ideas for the significant projects that we have talked about: the Milwaukee Rotary Centennial Arboretum, the playground at Brown Street Academy, Johnson's Park, MKE Urban Stables, and the soon-to-come Kumba Art Park on the Beer Line Trail. All of these ideas were brought to us by our members. And there is more. Rotarians have pulled together to support the settlement of Afghan refugees, sort medical supplies to send to Ukraine, and raise over $75,000 last year to address food insecurity in the community. Rotarians are hosting book clubs and film discussions to learn about the impact of racism, and will soon go out to the community to bear witness to the concerns of local immigrant groups. And of course, we have connectors and Done in a Day, and our marketing and communications committee is top notch at telling our story. Look at our people of action profiles, and my gosh, we even have our own podcast. I am leaving out so much, connecting to the community grants, sailing lessons for paralyzed veterans, planting trees. I'm scratching the surface, and I'm sorry. But it's really also important to remember that we don't work alone. We work with trusted partners, and we are a trusted partner. And that's an important legacy for us to really value and nurture and carry on. One of our important partners, Ken Leinbach, is here today. I mean, that work that we did at the Arboretum was really led by the Urban Ecology Center. So we are leaders, dreamers, and people of action. And it's important to note that we really come together in a culture of fairness. Yes, the faces of Rotary are different than they were years and decades ago. And while this presents challenges, we take immense pride in being a place where diverse voices are heard. In a world where we increasingly gravitate to people who think like us, at Rotary, you are likely to have lunch with someone who may have a different perspective. And that is something unique. The people who are drawn to Rotary are people who are willing to listen to perspectives that may be different than their own. People who are willing to be open to new ideas, even if they don't agree. How many organizations can say that? We hold a valuable place in our community. And this carries through to our programs. Our intentional commitment to fairness means that we strive for fact-based programming and expose members to two sides of an issue whenever we can. It connects us to respected partners like the Milwaukee Press Club, Wisconsin Policy Forum, and Wisconsin Eye. Our programming is strong and it underpins our reputation. Again, this reflects back on our members who tell us what they care about, use their connections to identify appropriate speakers, and really importantly, show up on Tuesday to listen to them speak. We couldn't do this without an audience. So let me return to what I said early on. The Rotary Club of Milwaukee's success is built around a powerful idea. Connecting people who care about their community makes our city stronger. I am passionate about that, and I know you are too. Tim, as you heard, Tim and I are very fortunate that each of our 4 children had the opportunity to leave Milwaukee for education, for work, or for adventure. And then 3 of the 4 and their spouses returned to raise their children just down the street, or next door in one case, you know. People say that Tim and I must have done something right, and you know, it's true that they like us and they like each other, right? But they appreciate having grown up here. They embrace Milwaukee, the lakefront, the education systems, the food scene, the arts culture, the access to outdoors, and the people. And perhaps most importantly, they have been able to find meaningful work. And that is my wish for Milwaukee, that it continues to be and deepens its ability to be a city that compels our children to choose this community to put down roots. And they, like us, will invest in Milwaukee's future. Okay, so it's time to wrap up. I think a lot of you know the decision to retire was difficult for me because I continue to love the work that I do. I love Rotary and the work that Rotary does. Nevertheless, as it's been said, I do believe you should leave a party when you're still having a good time. We are a financially strong club, membership is growing, and opportunities to make a difference locally and globally abound, and Rotarians are ready to say yes to those opportunities. And you will be in good hands with your next executive director, Melissa Marshka. I'll close with one short story. Some of you may know this, but not many, that I also strongly believe that you should always dance as if no one is watching. And I'm also the first one, often the first one on the dance floor. So my daughter Laura and her husband recently attended a gala and were delighted to see Melissa and Chris Marshka there. And around 10 o'clock, I got a text message from Laura that said, "Mom, Melissa was the first one on the dance floor." So you are leaving Rotary in good hands. So thank you. I will take questions if anybody has a question.
Less than 5 minutes. All right.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Mary.
How you doing, Jamie?
It's not polite to ask which of your children is your favorite, but Saj wants to know which of the 25 presidents was.
Oh, Saj.
And I was talking to Jerry Zaponiak. He wasn't sure what Carol was talking about when he called you a bad bee. So in a quiet moment, you can tell Jerry what that was.
That's
right, who's got
Carol.
questions for Mary? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, Jeff, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
Mary. I always thought you'd outlast me, but good luck. So the question
I'm not, I will still be a member of the club.
Thank you. That's the question. What's next?
What's next? You know, I tend to be really invested in what I'm doing when I'm doing it. You know, like I was someone who could never go to school at night. I had to go to school full time for graduate school. And I feel like that's what's going on right now. I'm very invested in being the executive director of the Rotary Club of Milwaukee. And then when I'm finished, it'll be summer, you know, so it'll be, you know, it'll be easy to take it easy and to think, you know, see what happens. I certainly want to continue to be involved in Rotary, be involved in the community. But I also want to be open to something new that might come along, you know. I mean, it's good to keep stretching yourself and got to stay young. And I do have a lot of family nearby, as you know.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Jenny.
I don't have a question, but Father Javier says congratulations.
Thank you.
And we have been having chats, so enjoy the summer because he's got some ideas for you.
So Ginny and I belong to St. Francis of Xavier. That's not right. St. Francis of Assisi Church, and Ginny's in the choir, and Father Javier is our priest, our pastor. So I don't know if anybody else here belongs to St. Francis, but Anne Marie. So it's a wonderful church over at 4th and Brown, and anybody wants to come, we're there with a lot of grandchildren every Sunday at 8:30. Hi, Saj.
Hi, Mary. It's the first time I've ever done this, actually. But I think the occasion called for it. First, thank you for everything, Mary, obviously. One question I've always wanted to ask you, I've never had the opportunity, despite many glasses of wine and many coffees, is you've been a role model to so many people, and I'd just be curious who you might count among your role models for leadership.
I know I should have an answer that rolls off the tip of my tongue. But, you know, I think that in so many ways, I just have picked up so many things from different people along the way. I've had the opportunity to engage in different leadership programs. I mean, like Peter Block is someone that I've heard speak and who I've really embraced and taken on what he talks about in terms of learning how to say yes. I had a teacher once who really said, you don't have to say yes to everything, but try to find a way to say yes to some little part of a request. And I think that that's been really valuable here at Rotary. But I should definitely give some more thought to the people who really have impacted me, because there were, I mean, the list would go on. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Mary. You know, it's been fun working with you the last 20 years. What I am particularly grateful for is our difficult time when the club had a real problem during COVID where we couldn't meet. And I think you held us together. That was a tough time. Some of us questioned whether we were going to stay in Rotary at all, whether the club was going to disband. We didn't know where this was all going to go, but you held us together, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Well, you know, I'll just say there's a little bit of a story there, and Bob Gleason is here. And back in, I think it was 2007 when we had the SARS scare, Bob spoke here at the club, and he talked about the coming pandemic, you know, that something, at some point, something was going to happen. And then, you know, in the 2007, 2008, if we had to shut down for 6 months, I mean, we would have been shut down. And I really took that to heart. And for a number of years, people would say, what do we have these reserves for in our balance sheet? And I'd say, it's the pandemic. We gotta be ready for the pandemic. But, you know, by the time the pandemic came, we had so much more technology, right? And so if we didn't have Zoom, it would have really been a whole different world. But I appreciate what you said, Tom. I think people in the club also really made a strong effort to stay connected with one another and to reach out to one another. And to, you know, we continued, we missed one Rotary meeting. We actually added a Rotary meeting on Thursdays at lunch, you know, we called it the snack. But anyway, we were very fortunate that the technology changed back from the time when Bob really scared me quite a bit. So if there's nothing, it's time to open the gate, I guess. So anyway, thank you all. This just really does mean the world.